What is up, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video. Now, this time keeping the theme a little bit, Formula 2 on the 2018 game mod, of course, but it's more of like a look at the mod and stuff like that. And we're greeted with a fantastic home screen as well as like a start screen as well. We've got a few pictures from the Formula 2 season, which is obviously quite cool. We're going to start a new race and we're going to look at some of the cars. Unfortunately, they haven't been done, but I know myself how difficult it is to get them working and actually make them look properly good. So I don't blame the person who made this mod. It was definitely difficult, to say the least. The link to it will be in the description below, of course. But one thing I did notice about this mod is, for me personally, I couldn't record like a series on it or like a season for many things. One, obviously the faces. That's inevitable. You can't do that with faces in this game. With my one, it was just about doable because there's like maybe 4 or 5 drivers that weren't going to be on the podium that had the issue with, but there we are. So we're going to be driving as Lando for this Grand Prix. Speaking of other things, I've noticed there's a weird thing with the AI and stuff like that, but no, it's definitely odd. I like the inclusion of this little video inside some of the sessions and especially the race. It's actually pretty cool. This is just before I get copyrighted, before it gets claimed by Formula 2 or something like that, but it's pretty cool. It's something different compared to what a lot of people have, but yeah, the AI in this game are very specific. You'll see throughout this video that the AI are very temperamental, to say the least. They are incredibly difficult, not to race with, but they are really punchy, and their consistency it's a little bit off. But other than that, yeah, it's really good. You could see got all the team overalls, the shirts and the race suits, not the hats, umbrellas or anything like that, but for the most part, it's a solid job, to be fair. Marcus Ericsson on pole, which is definitely not something that happens very often, not even in IndyCar, unfortunately for him. But nonetheless, we're going to smash through this and hopefully get a decent little bit of racing here for you guys. It was incredibly difficult, I'm not going to lie, to try and balance it all out and stuff like that. I did my best throughout the race to kind of make it a bit even, and you'll see what I mean towards the end of the video. But we've got Fukuzumi on pole, Arjun Maney in P2, which is actually pretty good for him. Roberto Meri, who raced, I believe it was 2015, in P3. Nico Carey dropped by Red Bull, P5. Sean Galale, he's just a toaster, I don't know why he's there. Jack Aitken in P12. This grid is really all over the place. I know it's a bit odd how the grid is. You can see we've got both of the Dams cars up the back, but we won't have to worry about that. We're going to fight through the field as best we can anyway. So starting from the back, and you can see this is pretty intense camera angle, to be fair. Obviously it's due to the car, but it's actually pretty cool. I ended up doing one of my fastest laps in cockpit view, which is quite ironic for this car at least. But we're going to pull up to the grid, and we're kind of not nighttime, in between nighttime and daytime. I think it's evening, as Norris is inside Albon, which I'm pretty sure he's happy about, having a poster on the wall to racing in F1 to now being inside of him. So it all comes full circle, really, doesn't it? There was quite a few cars that didn't actually make it to the grid. We got Lorandi at the back. Somehow we're P19 and he's behind us still, perfectly fine. But nonetheless, we're going to get ready and get into the race as quick as we can. First thing you'll notice, as soon as we get the lights go out, the difference we have in straight line speed is just there you go, Lorandi's already passed. So our straight line speed is a little bit down, but that's perfectly fine for what we have to worry about. There's absolute chaos into turn 1, and I'm assuming it's going to follow suit into turn 2. We're going to have to go really slowly just to avoid them, but obviously our deficit in the straight line isn't going to help. There's a few cars banging into each other. We'll take plenty of advantage up this, go up the inside, and we're going to be up the inside. Looks like Markolov, who is a sight for sore eyes, not racing in F2 no more, but we absolutely do him on traction, which is great for us. We've got Aitken just ahead of us. I'm not quite sure who's ahead of him, possibly another Russian time, or cars very similar like this season. All the cars at the time, actually, ironically, it was, I believe it was Delatraz, by the looks of it. No, it's Froco, sorry. Positions are changing all the while, so you can see already some of the cars are acting a little bit odd. We've got Froco actually still making a move, and Markolov, maybe, I'm expecting him to come through there, but you can see that that's Fukuzumi off. So we're going to have a look and see what actually happened to him, and he's going to come into, which is more or less a hairpin, and he's just, he's just going to drive off the circuit. Luckily the guy behind him didn't do that, but someone else obviously followed him straight in, so Froco's going to blast past us. Looks like Aitken's going to have a go at us, and we've got Artem Markelov behind us, so that only means that Markelov's going to dive it down the inside as well. So look at the train of cars as we're fucking Colin McRae in it around the circuit. All those cars just literally just all followed each other off, which was absolutely insane. It was like what happened at Le Mans, but we're going to get a little bit of a battle here with Markelov. We're going to lose a piece of our front wing. It is what it is. I can't really do much about that. Markelov's just going to disappear down the straight, and we're going to have Lorandi, who actually started P20 up to P15, about to be P14. So we've got to try and get some moves done in this corner. A few more cars have gone off. Markelov's going to come into us, and we're going to really damage our front wing. So that's it for us. We're going in the pit lane. We're going to ignore the illegal overtakes, so I'll get past us in a second. But pretty hectic first lap, if I do say so myself. We're about nearly 6 minutes into the video, and we've already just started lap 2. Absolutely mental, all that stuff that happened on that lap. But I think you can kind of grasp what I was on about. The AI are a bit, let's just say they've been stiffing some stuff. They're absolutely off the charts. Pretty aggressive, which I like. F2 is really aggressive. But in terms of going off corners, and it happens quite a lot in this video. I think one of the only drivers that doesn't do it is Delatraz, and he ends up leading this race at some point because no one else actually ends up going off the track. But you can see we've cut up to Artem Markelov. Markelov not too far ahead. Obviously got to deal with Froko, but we're not really bothered. Did you see that? Did you have a look at this? Like, he's there, and he just disappears. Penn and Teller fooled us, but nonetheless, we're coming down the back straight, and you can see Froko is going to go in between two cars, and he's just gone, really. He's just evaporated. That was never going to work. So we've got another car off to the right-hand side, and we've gained about 5-6 positions in a few corners. Obviously, all that drama brought out of VSC, of course, as you would expect. No safety cars on this game because Codemasters removed them. I'm not sure why, but you know. Up to P4, everyone's made their pit stops now, so you can kind of see we're ahead of them just a little bit, and just slowly making progress. Got Sean Galeo just ahead of us. He's going to go round the long right-hander when this car absolutely sucks, but he's just going to drop it on the curb, and that'll be a nice easy position for us. So at this point of the race, we're actually quite fast. If some of you guys have seen the comparison video I did yesterday of F2, the mod against actual F2 coming out, you'll notice that this is the exact lap that I ended up using as a comparison. It was really slow on the start, so if I hadn't had the VSC, I would have easily smashed the real F2 one. But you know, I did my best. It was actually quite close. I think it was like a few tenths of a second difference between that. But you see, we moved up into second place now, just behind Delatraz, who I said he was one of the only cars that didn't actually have an issue. He actually kind of stayed on the track. He was just a bit slow in some of the corners, but we do take the lead of this Grand Prix on lap 8. Literally nothing happened. I just sailed away, got a humongous gap to Delatraz, pitted again because I wanted to actually record the comparison lap on this lap, but like an idiot, I kind of changed the downforce. I only brought it down by 1, but that one click of downforce down, the car was useless. It was an absolute nightmare to drive. Like one minimal change in downforce, and then the car just doesn't turn in. Like, I couldn't barely make the corners, especially on this lap. I don't think I got that much of a gap to Delatraz in the grand scheme of things. But you can see, like, we're just driving straight off the circuit. Like, it was an absolute nightmare to drive after I changed it. Before, I got pretty comfortable with it, but that one little click just really didn't help us out at all. But no, last to first in an F2 car. I'm pretty sure I'm going to be doing a few more of these videos when F2 mod actually comes out. But it was quite an enjoyable race, minus the fact that I knew going into this how much faster I was the AI, and its maximum setting, it's on 110%. So it's not a case of the AI aren't turned up high enough. It's just they're just not very consistent, which is a bit disappointing. But obviously, you know, it's a good challenge as well coming from the back. I didn't expect that much chaos, so there was a lot of chaos going on throughout the race. But you can see we've got Total Wolf working for Carl in there, celebrating with the pit wall, and a fantastic win for Carl. And we're going to get out of the car. We're going to celebrate our race win. I'm not actually sure who came second and third. I know Delatraz did, but I'm not quite sure about the other one. But you know, it's a good mod. Don't get me wrong, it is a very good mod. I personally, like I said, I won't be able to use it. It's quite ironic that Carrie's got Gazzy's helmet there, but I won't be able to personally use it for a series. Stoffel Van Dorn on the podium as Hamilton Norris, as well as waiting to see who the third person is. Sirotkin, so Sirotkin's on the podium, which is accurate. He was in F2 for a while and he got a few podiums. I think he got a few race wins as well, to be fair. But anyway, that's been it from me, guys. Next video will be out soon. Until then, guys, take care and I'll see you later. Bye bye.